What's up cinephiles? Welcome back to the channel. For today's video, I'll be talking about the Turkish drama film called Paper Lives, or its original title, Kağıttan Hayatlar, directed by Ulkay. The movie stars Çagatay Ulusoy as Mehmet. He is a man who runs this solid waste warehouse, along with this network of dumpster divers in the impoverished streets of Istanbul. He cares for everyone, most especially the homeless children. So one day he chances upon this homeless 8-year-old boy named Ali, and he decides to take him under his wing, and by doing so, he must confront his traumatic childhood past. Now, before I continue with this review, I invite you guys to please hit that like button and subscribe to us for weekly reviews of movies and TV shows. We've been doing a lot of Netflix content since the pandemic, so if you guys dig that, go subscribe to this channel. Now back to the movie. I think this film has a perfect title, which is Paper Lives, because two things. One, it refers to the recyclable scrap that Mehmet here collects for his living, which is paper, and also I think it best summarizes the paper-thin, fragile state of their lives. In the face of poverty, I always appreciate checking out international Netflix films and shows because it gives me the culture, it gives me an awakening of what's happening on the other parts of the world. Though I am not stranger to poverty because here in the Philippines, we also have dumpster divers, trash pickers, but it's still nice to see what's happening on the other side of the world. And I must say, I like how they frame things here because we have a lot of drab and dour subject matter here, trash, poverty, but the movie makes a contrast by putting it a good color grading, lighting it up, especially those nighttime scenes. Some good filmmaking here, and in some emotional scenes where they play light and shadow, I do appreciate that. My favorite scene would have to be the one involving the best friend of Mehmet here, Gonzi, played by Ersin Arici, as he goes through his life collecting recyclable materials from trash. It's a montage set with an upbeat music. It kind of reminded me of a Bollywood clip. And also I dig the brotherhood here of this small knit community. It's nice that everyone is calling brother because almost every one of them are street children, homeless orphans, and the movie dedicates this at the beginning for the street children. Clearly there's some social commentary here about the class divide. In some ways it reminded me of the movie Slumdog Millionaire, though that movie addressed the socio-economic commentary way better. But it's still heartfelt to see some of these heartfelt scenes play out, like them taking a bath in a public bathhouse together, then trying to get by through life to whatever little that they can, like eating ketchup rice. I mean, no judgments here, but if I'm also starving, I would gladly eat ketchup rice. Ali, played by Emir Ali Dogrul, I think this kid is completely adorable. I hate it when kids they are portrayed in a way that they act like adults. So in here, both the actor and the characterization, they both remain true for what it feels like to be a child and helpless, full of dreams, full of heartbreak. So we get a lot of scenes here of Mehmet caring for Ali, and also for his best friend here, Gonzi, caring for Mehmet. So I think this relationship that the movie forged so effectively is the one that will draw us into this movie. So I really dig the chemistry of the cast and also the brotherly love that they're trying to accomplish here. But let's talk about the star of the show, which is Çagatay Ulusoy. I haven't seen any of his work before. I do believe that he is in this Netflix fantasy Turkish series called The Protector, which I'm yet to see. But I have a soft spot for these types of characters who don't have much but they still decide to be kind, gentle, and generous. If that's the main character that you're going to forefront in your movie, like, I'm already sold. Like, I'm already rooting for this guy. I'm already rooting for the best of what's going to happen for this movie. It also helps that Çagatay here gives a warm and likable performance. He has given a broad spectrum of emotions here, because the downside of this character is sometimes he has some anger management issues. He can be over aggressive at times, and while watching I was thinking that, is this character a bipolar? But as the movie progressed on, there is a certain reason why this character is behaving that way, and it's not overacting, trust me. He has showed varied emotional states here. He's completely vulnerable and volatile in his scenes where he's feeling helpless, when he's fueled with rage, but at the same time there's also joyful moments here to see a different side to him. So I rejoice when he's happy, and I felt bad when bad things are happening to him. This actor really did a great job on extending the empathy to its audiences, so much that I wish that the movie relied more on the actors' acting capabilities, because the things that I didn't like about this movie would have to be the first, the soundtrack. I think that the musical score tries too hard. We have different music here. There are some scenes where it's upbeat, it's using modern music, then towards the end there's some classical music. Like, I felt like I was watching a Shakespeare movie, and it kind of takes you out of it. It's one of those situations where the music feels so abrasive that it takes away from the performance of the actor. So I think they could have thought different music choices here. And also the editing, it's not as seamless. These are little things that I would nitpick for a cinephile like me, because I've seen a lot of movies. But if you're a casual viewer, I think this won't really mind you that much. But these little things, if they add up, they can really disrupt the tone, and that's what happened for me. Also, let's talk about the third act without spoiling anything. Something unexpected happens on the third act, but I've seen it happening from a mile away. Like, I'm in the middle of the film and I certainly know what direction this movie is going for. And I'm not sure if the movie intended it to construct in a way that it feels more obvious as the movie went along, so that you won't be shocked, when that third act happened. But that being said, me knowing what's going to happen on the third act kind of helped me appreciate some of the artistic choices that they have, when it comes to the angles. Some of the emotional scenes here were dealt with handheld cameras. Some elements here are blurred for a certain reason. Apart from the socio-economic commentary, it kind of evolves to a character study concerning themes about mental health and other noble themes like sacrifice, community, friendship, things like that. This movie clearly has its heart at the right place, but at the same time, I felt like the movie falls in the trap of reminding you every now and then that this is a dark and depressing movie. I felt like that is already an unnecessary move, because you all have the setup that you need in the beginning. Mehmet here is ill, he never knew his parents, he doesn't have the best financial condition in his life, and you see a lot of characters here with depressing backstories, which are mostly dealt on an exposition. Like, I didn't matter for those minor characters, but there's an exposition dump towards the end. And when it comes to dramas like this, I felt like that is already a tired formula, I must say, though it doesn't feel too contrived, because the movie already laid out the key points leading to that third act, and just because we already have a character that has grown into our heart. Personally, the ending did not completely work for me, just because I would have preferred if this movie played out more straightforward, a nuanced slice of life approach with less histrionics and with less musical scoring that's too abrasive. But overall, this is a subject matter that will have an appeal universally, and it still remains to be a heartbreaking drama slash character study of a man who collects trash for his living. If you don't like movies which can tend to be over dramatic, like some Bollywood movies, I would not suggest this movie for you. But just to check out what Turkish filmmaking is all about, because there are some parts of here that I did not like, some parts that I do like, so it kind of ends up as both weird and fascinating for me. So it's always nice to see other works from different countries. I think the only Turkish film that I've seen prior to this is the Turkish adaptation of Miracle in Cell Number 7, because we also have a Philippine adaptation of that movie here. And both movies, it deals about family, loss, universal themes. So I'm going to give this movie a 3 out of 5 stars. And that's it for my review of Paper Lives. Have you guys seen this movie? Let me know what you think in the comment sections down below. Also, if you enjoyed watching this video, hit that like button and subscribe to us for weekly content. Thank you so much guys for watching. Until then, see you on the next one.